welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. So today I want to talk about a topic that has literally been on my mind for so long. I don't know why I haven't made a video about this before, but let's talk about why manifesting your specific person is not manipulation. And if you are new here, hi, welcome. I would love to have you here. So do your YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can leave a comment if you like about anything really. I always take recommendations for topics that you guys want me to talk about. One thing I will say is I have a new uploading schedule for affirmation tapes. They will now be going up, I don't want to lie, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I believe. I'm not sure. So Tuesdays and Thursdays? I don't know. I uploaded it on my community tab. Anyway, I have a new uploading schedule. I will take suggestions for affirmation tape topics if you want to like throw your hat in the ring, but I will say that I have pre-worked quite a bit in advance. So most of the videos up until 2025 have already been created and uploaded and will just go up. So you will have a lot of content to look forward to. But still, if you're leaving a comment and your topic actually has been covered, I will leave a comment and let you know that the video is coming. But yeah, so I was actually inspired filming this because I was going through some comment sections, which I sometimes do just to kind of see what people are, talking about, what they're worried about. And one of the comments I always see, whether it's from people who are not in the manifestation community or who are in the manifestation community, is that manifesting your specific person is manipulation. I will say this, and if you are new here, you probably don't know this. If you're not new here, you will know this. I don't like to talk about other coaches. I don't like to talk about other people. But one thing I really have to say, and I really have to make this a point, if anyone who claims to coach you, teach you, like give you therapy about it, whatever the case may be, if they claim to actually know the law and they state that manifesting your specific person is manipulation, please do yourself a favor and run as far away from them as you can. They either don't understand the law, they don't understand common, just classic psychology, they don't understand how our world works, the quantum physics behind it, and on top of that, they might actually do understand it but make you feel bad, so you consume their content and purchase their things, because if you are coming from a place of feeling bad and you're supposed to do the inner work and all of that kind of stuff, you might need more help, because that's a lot more difficult than just accepting that the world runs on certain programs and certain things that you are already utilizing and that you technically don't need help once you understand how it works. So if anybody tells you that manifesting your specific person is manipulation, please run, because nothing else they say from here on out can or should be taken seriously. And this is not just my personal opinion. I will tell you guys now why exactly that is the way it is and why it's not manipulation. So let's get into that. So first things first, the way that your entire surroundings work is, so you have a conscious and you have a subconscious, right? And we all know that we're all energetic matter, we're all particles, and they're in constant movement. We're all connected. You can't be separated from your outside world and your outside reality. There's a lot of, religious scripture and text that kind of confirm that. There's a lot of science that confirms that. Everybody kind of talks about it in some way, shape, or form. There's all kinds of like the red string theory, things like that, that really talk about the fact that you're meant to meet certain people at certain points in life, that certain things happen to you in certain way, shape, or form. But oftentimes it's not talked about enough that your subconscious has this. So your subconscious is designed to repeat certain patterns in your life over and over again to keep you safe. Now, back in the Stone Age, that was amazing because you didn't have time to look at danger and decide, should I do this or should I do this? Like over time, you learn, fight or flight. How do I handle this? How do I handle this situation? And when you're in these like super basic, say mindless situations, that's great. So doing that kept you safe, kept the tribe that you were a part of safe. Perfect, right? But in today's world, it's not as black and white and it's not as simple. But there are certain structures in place that actually utilize that and utilize that against you. So everywhere you look, the news, it's always bad news. Go scroll on TikTok. Most people will tell you about their negative relationships or negative situations. If someone actually presents positive relationships or positive situations, you will either see a lot of people being envious, being jealous, or trying to tear that person down. Very rarely do you see just an entire comment section full of people being like, I love this and I can't wait to have this for myself. That's very few and far between. Most shows are rooted in drama and negativity, and I don't know, what was I watching? I was watching something about, I think I watched a JoJo Siwa interview or something, but I think she actually said that when she filmed her own show, that they were creating drama because nobody wants to watch a boring TV show. Nobody wants to watch boring reality TV. What was boring in that case was people being nice and people being normal and people not being, confrontational or creating drama or, traumatizing kids. Like, take your pick, So she kind of made a point that people are looking for negativity and drama. Why? Because that's what we're conditioned to like. Why? Because it triggers our nervous system and it gets us excited. And, I even talked to my mother about it yesterday. She talked about the fact that, we grow up with these Disney movies and all these kinds of things where, the fairy tale is supposed to be this and it's supposed to give you butterflies and all these kind of like unrealistic expectations we have of the world and reality. So from very little on, we are being raised in a societal construct that is basically teaching us that we need to chase dopamine and we need to chase serotonin and we need to chase like the adrenaline and the excitement of life. Otherwise, your life is boring and mundane and has no worth, which is really not the case, by the way. Like, we're not meant to live that way and we're not built that way. We're normally creatures of habit. And, once you kind of get out of that place, even if you're doing trauma healing, for example, once you try to sit with yourself and actually feel those feelings, at first, it's going to be really boring and really weird, but the longer you do it, the more you realize, wow, I actually don't miss that and I don't need that. And it's a lot nicer to just not have drama in your life, but it's like an addiction that you're developing to that situation, okay? Or just situations in general that create certain dramas. So now that we have established kind of like the base pattern, how does that come into play when you're manifesting your specific person? You are being taught from very early on things to expect in interpersonal relationships, whether that's through, things you've seen, things you've heard, things you've experienced through either TV or, things that you heard other people talk about or things that you've seen in your own household or, maybe other people's households. So your subconscious is creating a pattern, a system that it then continues to push out to you over and over again. Because again, just like we talked about, it needs to keep you safe. That's its only job. It does not interpret, it does not, value or devalue certain things. It just exists. And it takes the information, I've always said this before, like a computer and like the TikTok algorithm, right? And the more you engage with certain content, for example, the more you get that content pushed out to you. Your brain is the exact same way. So when you are manifesting a specific person, subconsciously, unconsciously, it can only go based on the program that you already have installed in you. So every person and every experience in your life has been manifested in some way, shape, or form. Manifestation literally just means taking a construct or a theory and making it into a tangible reality. That's all it means. It has no spiritual meaning. It got spiritual meaning now, but initially it didn't. You are just making something tangible that you can take in with your senses. So your brain is creating a specific person based on the programming that you already have brought with you to this situation before you ever met this person. So what does this mean, however, if you're now deciding that you actually want to consciously manifest a person? So you're making the decision, okay, this is what I actually want in my specific person, or I want my old specific person back, but in a different way. I want to be different. I want them to be different, whatever the case may be. You can literally consciously manifest a specific person back and still get the exact same results that you have gotten before if you do not address certain aspects of things that are instilled in your subconscious that were creating that problem prior. I've always said, and this is a quote I've also saw recently that kind of makes sense, but doing the bare minimum work will get you the bare minimum result. And the quote was just so beautiful because it literally talks about the fact that persistence will get you your desire or your manifestation, but consistency is what will keep your desire in your reality. So you can be persistent in the beginning and let's say, for example, manifest a text message, right? But you have to be consistent in your manifestation. I'm going to establish contact. I'm not going to be anxious about if I don't get contact. I fulfill my life with things that are important to me. I'm working on, my abandonment issues, whatever it is that you want to address outside of that has made you, for example, manifest no contact to begin with, also needs to be addressed over time. It is very, very simple to get whatever it is that you want. It doesn't matter whether it's a person, whether it's money, whether it's health, it doesn't matter what it is, but you need to really understand that everything in your life has been created based on certain systems. And it's not that you have to even necessarily do everything from the jump. You can, for example, manifest them back in. Then you encounter a situation that maybe either has come up before or maybe it hasn't come up before at all. And you're like, okay, wait, but this is a negative situation. I don't want this. This is clearly negative subconscious patterning. So you have to then take that and then do the work while it's happening to you. And manifestation is something that will always be a part of your life. You will have to do work consistently over time, over and over and over again until you get there. It doesn't have to take long. I'm not saying that, but a lot of people get very complacent very quickly once they get like the first taste of it, and then they wonder why it goes south again because they just ignore what they were supposed to do to begin with, which is stay consistent, because you're basically trying to, for example, replace beliefs that are 30 something years old within a week. You can start doing that, but we also know that from a neuroscience standpoint, it takes about 21 days to build a habit. So those, neural patterns need to lay the foundation for it, and then you need to keep going. I know there are some people who got what they wanted, and they're still to this day affirming for it and manifesting for it even years later. Just as a little reminder, obviously it's kind of like an automated situation now, and in years after the fact, you don't really have to do that if you don't want to. But if you are ever encountering, for whatever reason, and our brain can be really elusive about the reasons sometimes, if you are encountering the same thing for whatever reason, you need to just be self-aware enough to then click into that and be like, okay, no, I'm gonna change that real quick, and I'm just gonna affirm against it for like a minute or so, and then I'll be fine. But there is no manipulation in this case. It's always, oh, if you want them to like you or love you or whatever, you want a good relationship with them, it's manipulation. But if you're manifesting a negative version of them that is hurtful, that is disrespectful, that just doesn't like you for no reason, then it's like, oh yeah, well, that's just the draw of the, like, whatever, the luck of the draw or whatever, and or the universe decided for you. Like, that's nonsense, because it's taking your power away and it's not understanding how this works. You can't have it both ways. It's like saying on one hand, I have all the power to manifest whatever I want, and I'm the god of my reality, and I can really have that, and I can manifest, and I'm so powerful. But then on the other side, but I can't have this person, and if I do want somebody, it's gonna take forever, and the universe is deciding for me. So it doesn't work. It's literally what Neville said, how you can't live in like two realities at the same time. You can't do that. Either you understand that you are in full control of your reality, and that does include other people, or you don't. If you want to give your power to somebody else or something else, that's fine. You can do that. But don't mistake even you giving your power away as you not actually just giving power to your subconscious brain. That is all you are doing. You are giving it to the programming that your brain has already set as like the main programming and the default programming it always has to go back to. Plus, you are giving power to everybody else in your reality, whether it's something you watch on TV, whether it's somebody you talk to, whether it's another tarot reading you watch. Like, it really doesn't matter. Either you are fully in control or you're giving your power to somebody else. There is literally no in between. And in my opinion, I would much rather take responsibility for being in control, and then also having, the beauty of being able to change that, than being over here and being like, well, okay, there's this one thing that, is manipulation, so I shouldn't change that. But then, maybe over here, or maybe they're like, how can you explain, for example, that you're manipulating manifesting money? Let's use that as an example. Money isn't gonna just come to you out of, it's not gonna fall out of the sky. Somebody has to carry out your manifestation. A person is gonna go and do things for you that will then lead you to getting the money that you want. Do you consider that manipulation? Most people don't. Most people think that's totally okay. Or let's say, for example, you're manifesting health, and all of a sudden you find a really good doctor. Would you feel like, oh yeah, I manipulated that doctor into healing me? No, of course not. You would never see it that way. You would be like, oh, look, the universe brought me the perfect doctor. Even if you are manifesting the specific doctor that you already have to treat you better, or let's say you just want a raise at work, and are you then like manipulating your boss into giving you a raise and praising you for doing good work? No, of course not. Nobody would ever see it that way, and nobody would ever think, oh, that's the way it works. Like, it's nonsense. Same thing applies to your specific person. Your boss can hate you today and love you tomorrow based on whatever it is that you're affirming, because people change their minds all the time. And the biggest proof that you are in control and that manifesting your specific person is not manipulation is the fact that when you first meet them and you're in the honeymoon stage and everything is great, they're in love with you, they want to be with you, they're putting in so much effort, they're just all over you. And once your subconscious programming takes hold, and oftentimes you can literally put a timer on it. Like, if I look at people in my life that have relationships fall apart or things happen, there's always a time that you can put on it. And some will even tell you, oh, it's normally things go great for me for like 2 weeks and then things fall apart or something like that. A lot of people are aware of those patterns. But then all of a sudden, your specific person wakes up one morning and doesn't like you anymore, or there's something going on around them, or, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. For some reason, they just pull back, or they change their mind, or, you know, the circumstances won't allow you to be together, whatever it is. All of a sudden, you wake up one morning and you find yourself in the exact same situation that you were in before. I see this on TikTok so many times, girls making videos saying, oh, you know, I thought this one was the right one. I thought this one was different, but I got ghosted again, of course, because it always happens to me, or I got replaced by somebody else. They literally say it always happens to me because it is a pattern, and it doesn't matter how much you want to believe this is the one, or want to believe this is the right one now, or they're going to treat you differently. If you don't address those patterns, it will continue to happen to you until you actually acknowledge that the buck stops with you, and it always will stop with you, and that you need to address what is actually going on up here so I can continue to live a better life and not just have it be in a honeymoon stage for a couple of weeks and then it all fall apart again, even though I thought this was the one, and now I'm heartbroken again, and now I'm going through this again. No, you don't need to go through this again. Not at all. You're in control. It's not manipulation. If you can manifest the negative, you can manifest the positive, but you have to acknowledge and understand that you are responsible for both sides of the coin. Anybody who tells you it's manipulation to, you know, try and get somebody to have feelings for you, they already had feelings for you because you assumed that they would, because when you're in the honeymoon stage, your brain is like, oh my God, we're going to ignore everything else. Trauma doesn't matter. So you're both in this like happy-go-lucky honeymoon stage. And then when reality hits, that's when your subconscious takes over and is like, oh yeah, and it could be the most minute thing that triggers it. It's different for everybody. And then your brain's like, yeah, we need that old program now. Let's get that show on the road. And it can happen within hours, days, maybe weeks. And all of a sudden you're left heartbroken again. And then you're like, well, shit, you know? No, it happened because it was supposed to happen, because you need to change your programming. I can just repeat myself over and over again. And this is also self-fulfilling prophecy. Go to any psychology book and pop it open and you'll see it. Self-fulfilling prophecy does not just apply to you. It applies to it literally says you assume something about somebody else and they're eventually going to live up to that, whether it's good or bad. Anyway, if you have any more questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I really, really hope this video helped you, and I will absolutely see you guys in the next one.